Welcome to Freda Chando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Your support to this channel is really amazing and I take it with a measure of humility. If you are watching our channel for the first time, please allow me to request you to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that whenever I release a video like this, YouTube will definitely notify you. Like our channel and like our videos so that YouTube can recommend them for more viewers. What is the biggest fear of our deputy Rigathi Gachagua about Raila Odinga as far as his bid to hold demonstrations across the country is concerned? I have studied Rigathi Gachagua for some times. He's made it his role to answer to Raila Odinga anytime Raila speaks. And ever since Raila Odinga said that he was going to meet his supporters to compare notes and chart a way forward on how they are going to check this government, Rigathi Gachagua has been on a yapping spree. He's been talking to Raila here and there. And sometimes back, I think that was last weekend, Rigathi trivialized this move and he was like, if Raila Odinga wants to hold any demonstrations across the country, then he should bring back his son, his daughter Winnie, and then Kalonzo Musyoka should also bring back Kennedy, his son, so that they can join in the demonstrations. But today, while attending a church in Embu, I saw a panicking Rigathi Gachagua. And I saw a man who was literally pleading with the president not to bring Raila Odinga any close to him.
Vile governor amesema, huyu mzee sisi tunamjua. Sisi tunamuonea inaitwa 18. Hapo. Na rais sisi ni marafiki wako na unajua. Sisi ni marafiki wako wa ukweli. Sisi watu ya mulima, we are your true friends. Kama sisi hatungekuwa marafiki wako, vile tulikuwa tumesukumwa hatungemaliza safari na wewe. Lakini sisi ni marafiki wako. Na sisi tutakuambia ukweli kila siku. Huyu mzee 207 kweli ama uongo? Akaleta fujo, maandamano, dini, akaingizwa ndani ya serikali. Akakalia hapo. Akasukuma, basi. Ameshindwa mwaka wa 2017 na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na William Ruto. Ameleta maandamano, ameuzia Uhuru Kenyatta uoga, Uhuru amenunua. Amemleta kwa serikali yake ya handshake. Hii akabomoa serikali yetu. Alibomoa hakubomoa? Hizi barabara zote munalia hapa alisimamisha. Madems alisimamisha. Akateka rais wetu nyara, akamuondoa hapa, akampeleka huko kwao. Hapa tukaumia. Sasa tumemshinda. Ameanza lugha ya maandamano. Na nia yake ni ile ile. Ati auzie huyu rais wetu woga, ati aitwe kwa handshake. Inawezekana? Inawezekana? Rais wetu, tunakuomba tukiwa hapa kwa mlima, president wetu, sisi tumechangia kiasi kikubwa kwa serikali yako. Hiyo mzee hatutaki kwa serikali yetu. Na huyo mtu wacha afanye maandamano asubuhi, saa 7 jioni, hakuna handshake. And the reason is one. The handshake was a bad experiment. It is the worst thing that has ever happened in the history of Kenya for 60 years. All the economic mess we are having today is as a result of that handshake. Yeye afanye kazi yake ya upinzani. Aende aulize maswali, apige kelele, afanye maandamano, akae huko, atukosoe akiwa mbali. Sisi tuko na watu ya kutosha ya serikali ya William Ruto. Si hapa muko na watu.
Because apparently Rigathi Gachagua believes that Raila Amolo Odinga is calling demonstrations so that he can force William Ruto into a handshake. Something which to me, I don't think holds any water. Because I listened to Rigathi and he's saying that the last time Raila Amolo Odinga held demonstrations, he was selling fear to the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and he coerced Uhuru into a handshake. And according to Rigathi Gachagua, courtesy of that handshake, their people from Mount Kenya were neglected, and Raila Amolo Odinga literally took away Uhuru Kenyatta, and all the development projects were taken to Kisumu. And of course you all know that this is a lie. And Rigathi Gachagua told William Ruto that he stood by him, and of course the whole Mount Kenya fraternity voted for William Ruto to the last man. And so he was reminding William Ruto that William Ruto should not be scared by Raila Amolo Odinga's tactics so that they can get into a handshake. And it is like he was telling William Ruto that if ever he tries getting into any kind of handshake, then they will make a U-turn. That is the basis of the statement from Rigathi Gachagua. And you've heard it saying that William Ruto can never be intimidated. But I don't think anyone is intimidating William Samoei Ruto, because I have heard them saying that Raila Amolo Odinga should play his role and check the government. And one of the ways of checking a government, if they are not listening, is to picket. There is freedom of picketing that is clearly entrenched in our solemn constitution, because power belongs to the people. But ladies and gentlemen, why do you think Rigathi Gachagua, in his wildest dreams, does not want to imagine that William Ruto and Raila Odinga could get into a handshake? Because no one has ever talked about a handshake. What I have heard some parliamentarians talking about is the creation of the office of an official opposition leader and his deputy. That is a bill that I think is being discussed behind the curtains. But Rigathi Gachagua seems to be obsessed by this idea that Raila Amolo Odinga is looking for a handshake. I think it is Rigathi Gachagua and some of William Ruto's henchmen, because I had Grand Mullah Abdullahi, the lawyer, Mohammed, saying that Raila Amolo Odinga is rocking this country because he wants a handshake. But Rigathi Gachagua, I think, still remembers vividly what happened between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto. Because when they got into power in 2013, they had promised their constituents that Uhuru was going to work for a 2-term limit and then hand over the baton to William Samoei Ruto. Then later, he shortchanged, that is what they believe, that he shortchanged William Ruto and wanted to pass over the baton to Raila Amolo Odinga. And of course, there is a divided opinion on this. There is a school of thought that believes that William Ruto started campaigning so early, and that is why he pissed off Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That instead of helping Uhuru to implement their campaign manifesto, he was busy campaigning as early as 2017 to get into power in 2022. But there's another school of thought who holds that Uhuru wanted to shortchange William Ruto, and William Ruto had every right to campaign early enough because he had been promised. So Rigathi Gachagua could be thinking that if Raila gets into a handshake, then it might happen the same way, because according to him, there seems to be some unwritten arrangement that Uhuru will do his Ruto will do his 2-term, then hand over the baton to Rigathi Gachagua. That is what seems to be happening. And if you look at the seriousness and the sensation with which Rigathi Gachagua was talking, there seems to be something that we don't know. Maybe Rigathi Gachagua knows that William Ruto is warming up to a handshake somewhere. Otherwise, why should he take a moment in church? In fact, some of these our churches on Sundays are no longer churches. They are campaign podiums, venues just to campaign. Why would Rigathi Gachagua take a sacred moment in a holy chapel to campaign and to, it is like he was giving William Ruto a caution, a warning, a polite warning, never to accept Raila Odinga into a handshake. He knows something that we do not know. And he knows that if Raila Odinga would go and support William Ruto, then it will be not very palatable for Rigathi Gachagua. Because one, the parliamentarians that support Raila Odinga will be joining hands with William Ruto. So should they even try to pose a vote of no confidence against Rigathi Gachagua, then it will easily pass. He knows that William Ruto will not give him full attention. Because what is happening today is that William Ruto understands very well that it is the Mount Kenya votes that made him who he is. And currently, without any alternative, Rigathi Gachagua will still be the darling of William Ruto. So Rigathi understands that if Raila comes in, then he will not be standing out. He won't be given much attention. In fact, the support that Raila gives will be much more tremendous than that of Rigathi Gachagua, because with Raila comes Coast, comes Western, that they can rally their support together. And he knows very well that the concentration of dishing out of development projects will not be in central Kenya as he would wish. Because if you look at the way Rigathi Gachagua is behaving, he believes this country or the government belongs to maybe William Ruto and himself. Because I heard him saying that the media has been selling propaganda that they have the lion's share of the cabinets and principal secretaries. And he said that there's nothing wrong with that because they worked hard for it. In fact, he was saying, tulijipanga, we were prepared for it. If Raila Odinga comes and makes a handshake with William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua understands well that he can be dropped in 2027, sorry. So that instead of William Ruto going with him as a running mate, William Ruto can pick one of the Azimio members, either Kalonzo Musyoka, or they can pick Mudavadi. Because this is a conversation that I've had going on. The other time, Mutai Nguni talked about it. And if this happens, and it has the blessings of the Azimio fraternity, then Rigathi Gachagua will be dropped. I can assure you that if Raila Odinga and Ruto comes together, and then Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula and Joe from the coast, they will be creating something like the one they created in 2007 when it was almost the whole country against Mount Kenya. Because then it was Raila rallying out to their support together with Mudavadi and William Ruto and Jonyaga, and it was like the whole nation against Mount Kenya. So Rigathi Gachagua understands, and that is why he is bitter, that if at all it happened that Raila shakes hands with William Ruto, then he might not get it in 2027. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, why would Rigathi Gachagua be so much bitter, yet no one has indicated that there is a handshake looming? Because to the best of my knowledge, Raila Odinga has said that he is going to the streets, or is going to meet his people in in Kamkunji, because he feels that the 4 dissenting commissioners, the Cherera 4 in quotes, are being ousted out of office courtesy of malice and revenge. And he believes that even the appointments of the principal secretaries was against the law, and the lion's share went to 2 communities, yet we have over 40 communities, ethnic communities in Kenya. And Raila Odinga thinks that issues like GMO have not been discussed properly, and they have not given all the stakeholders a chance to discuss this. So he's going to the streets because it is allowed in the constitution to try and compel this government. We have done this before. I don't understand where he's getting this fear. about the handshake. Let me ask you, do you think the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta was good? Because from where I sit, this handshake is what helped William Ruto to ascend to power without anyone going to the streets. Otherwise, it would have been very chaotic. The period that Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto worked in their last term was very peaceful, and Kenyans had a lot of tranquility and a serene environment. Investors came. Why? Because they were working together. But Rigathi Gachagua seems to have a different opinion, that this handshake like threw away William Ruto and all those who were supporting him. Do you think Rigathi Gachagua is right to fear any kind of handshake between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto? And do you think the fears are real or they are imaginations? Do you think Raila is warming up or Ruto is warming up for any kind of handshake? Because William has made it very clear that he will not incorporate opposition into his government. And why do you think Rigathi Gachagua has these fears? Ladies and gentlemen, is there something that, is there more than meets the eye? Tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. But from where I sit, if there is any kind of handshake that will unite this country, then I support it. And that is my take, ladies and gentlemen.